Hello everyone and welcome to another 2-page scrapbook layout process video that I'm going to share with you today. I have been focusing on Cricut cuts this week. I just posted a video the other day showing how I easily adhere elements within an overlay that I create myself from SVG or Cricut Design Space cuts where there's a lot of detail involved and I want to place things accurately within that shape. I've got some more simple shapes that I have cut out today, and I have to confess the little icy-poles here are a little bit inspired by Katie Donaldson Taylor because I saw her make one on Instagram using this fabulous paper. It's the Fruit Salad 6x6 Designer Series paper, and you can earn this for free when you spend $100. This is Australian, $100 on my website, and you can add this to your cart for free. It's part of the celebration promotion. And I love the freshness and the brightness of this, and it just screamed summer days to me. So I am doing a design today that says summer fun. So I have cut out some letters on my Cricut. I've used the offset feature and merged these pieces together so that it's easy to lay out all of the letters. And I've used the offset feature on the icy-poles that I'm using here. Now these images are a Cricut Design Space image, and what Katie created was some icy-poles using these everyday arch dies, and they looked absolutely fabulous. So I will leave a link to her Instagram account below because she's done some amazing things with these arch dies, and it was sort of a jumping off point for me with creating the embellishments for today's layout. And the reason why I'm doing quite a bit of Cricut cutting at the moment is because I have a workshop this Saturday. So I put kits out for the ladies, and a lot of them have large titles cut out for them. So I try to have a few different things on hand for them to look at and hopefully get some inspiration from. So you can see I've cut some circles here out of the paper. I'm going to bring in the papers from this fruit salad kit. It's so fun, fresh and vibrant. And yes, it's 6x6 papers, and sometimes us 12x12 scrapbookers struggle with using 6x6 papers on a 12x12 layout. But it's so fun to create circles with these. I'm going to show you an alternative that you can use if you don't have a Cricut machine. But I love both sides of pretty much all of these papers. So I'm just going to turn these over so you can check out what the other sides are. It's a little bit hard because I don't want to put them down here and disturb what I've got in front of me here. Lots of great vibrant patterns, pretty much designed for card making before Stampin Up have started releasing some gorgeous scrapbooking layouts. But there's no reason why you can't use these gorgeous papers on your layout. So hopefully you'll get some inspiration from what I'm doing today. Now, if you're not comfortable with tracing around a plate, or if you don't have a cutting machine like I do with my Cricut, you can always use, I'm just trying to find them in my little tub here, and they've sort of slid around a little bit, but there are these big circles from the Around It All dies. Now, this is an online only release, and so are the Everyday Arches. And you can see this fits pretty much the same size as my circle that I've got here. So I'm just going to bring in a pattern piece and put that over top so you can cut the largest circle from this set out of a 6x6 DSP paper, and it gives you a bit of a wonky circle, but I quite like that. I've done them on the Cricut because, as I said, I'm making kits, so I want to make these quite quickly, and cutting circles on the Cricut is one of the fastest things ever. And I've also attached a slicing line here so that it will cut this part out for me as well. I'll link to my playlist on Cricut videos that I've done with tutorials on how to use the program. I have one with a how to slice, weld and cut that I can put a link for, so you can check out how I've actually done that in Cricut so I don't have to get my trimmer out to do it myself. But I do love how many dies are in this. And if I was just making the page for myself, I would probably use this wonky sort of circle. But this one has 12 dies in it. So that, I think, is a really good value for money. So what I'm going to do before I start laying out my pieces is assembling my die cuts here because I've got them here already. So the shape from Cricut actually has these two elements here, and the Design Space image had some cutout pieces as well. But because I've got this gorgeous pattern on the paper, I didn't want to add the little cutout. So you know how icy-poles sometimes have those little molded pieces into the icy-pole. I didn't want to add another layer to that. So I'm not using that layer here, I'm just using these two. And then I use the offset feature to add a white outline to this, because when it comes to putting these onto my scrapbook layout, I'm going to have them over top of some of these circles. And if I put it like this on the circle here, so there's going to be a row of these, I'll just get these and put them over top so you can see why I've done this offset feature to create an outline. They get a little bit lost up against the pattern paper here. I love this pattern paper. If I wanted to, I could turn this over and have a more muted effect. My icy-poles would stand out a little bit more. I could turn this round so that I can have the patterns on this side. So there are so many options that you can do with die cut pieces or with Cricut cut pieces. So I could have these patterns showing if I wanted more of the fruit type patterns on this, but I don't think I could do that with this paper here. It's just too much. Even with the outline piece that I've got here, I think it's just a lot of busy pattern altogether. So that's why I'm going for using the more muted side. It's like a tone on tone print, and I'm using those for my icy-poles and my circle features here as the busy pattern with all the gorgeous fruit on here. So I have 3 small icy-poles for the left, and I'm going to have 3 large ones on the right. So I just need to adhere all of these layers together. I'm not going to do that on camera, because I'm just going to move these off to the side. I'm hoping this won't flare too much, and show you how my title is going to work. And basically it's just a matter of lining my pieces up here and adhering them down. So I haven't created an overlay piece like I did with the video that I posted earlier this week, because these are fairly easy to line up. I didn't think I needed a hand with getting these all in place. So there we go. We've got summer fun. Now, if you wanted to, you could use the other side of the paper. It's just totally personal preference. I really wanted these circle elements to be the base layer of my page here. So I'm just going to roughly line this up just for the left page so you can see where I'm going here. I've got my bananas. So I'm going to have one whole circle on one page. I'm going to have a circle that goes across to the right page when it comes off the edge here. I love it when circles come off the edge of a project. And then my title is going to go in the middle here, and then I'm going to stack my icy-poles up. So I've got a little bit of adhering to do before I come back and start constructing my page. So I'll be back in a moment. I've adhered my label together as well as all of my little icy-poles, so they're all ready to go onto the page. I just love creating big titles on Cricut. I don't have any dies that are this large. I'm really hoping that Stampin' Up bring out some large alphabet dies and number dies, because they are so fun to use on a scrapbook layout or even on the front of a card. Letters and alphabets can be used in so many different ways. So I'm just going to put these off to the side while I decide where my circles are going to go. I did confess I do have a plan for this. So you can see I've got 3 circles cut out of this paper here. I'm going to put these across the page so that they go across sort of in a triangle. So these ones are going to go in the middle, as I said before. I might bring my pages in closer together so you get more of an idea of how this is going to go. And then I've got one of these off to the side over here. I'm going to bring in the banana paper. So I thought it would be fun to have them coming from the top and the bottom of the page, and then have the paper on this section here. So this is how I'm thinking it's going to go. I might end up moving my pieces over so that I've got one strong pattern and one more subdued pattern. But I'm going to put my photo placeholders on here and my icy-poles before I make that decision. So let's just lay this out and dry fit it. I've got a little sketch that I've drawn, very high tech, on how I'm going to put my photo holders. So I'm just going to lay these out roughly. This one's going to go over this side. Might need to go and grab another 4x4 mat. So over here, and I've got another portrait style one here. So yes, I'm going to put another one in this spot here. Now I'm trying to decide whether or not I want photo mats. I think it will make everything pop a little bit more, and I might bring in the green, I think, but first I'm going to lay out my titles. So they're going to go across the middle here with summer, and I'm thinking for the fun, it's going to go down on this side. And by putting photo mats on, I could leave these as just white photo mats, but they are blending into the white background. So this is white willow. It's very much like white daisy, but I do love the basic white. So now we have two choices of white in the range, which I think is absolutely fabulous. Because sometimes you don't need a really bright white on a page, and it all depends what the pattern paper is. So I'm going to put my icy-poles coming out of the title over here, and then I'm going to group these ones in a similar fashion down in this corner over here. So I quite like how this is looking. Now I have to decide what colour I'm going to do for my mats. Now I have some offcuts here from making some kits. So I'm thinking this is actually jade from Close to My Heart, but I could definitely use Granny Apple Green, but that doesn't come in a single pack as yet, so I don't quite have enough of it. So I'm thinking that this green is going to work really well as sort of a neutral colour. Rather than bringing in a pink or a red, I think the green is going to make the photos pop. If I bring in red, it's just going to overpower, and I want the pops of red to stand out. I don't want it to just bleed into the background here. Or I could bring in some yellow, because that's sort of the neutral colour here. The oranges and the reds are sort of the bright colour pops, and I just don't want to bring those in for this particular page. So the yellow works quite well too, but I think I'm definitely sold on making my photo mats the greens. So I'm going to go away and cut all my photo mats. Now what I do with my photo mats is I cut them at the true size and then trim my photos down, because I can get more photo mats that way if I keep to the standard size. And there's always room to trim a photo down just a little bit. And I don't always often share the workshop kits that I make on YouTube, because usually I'm running around a couple of days before and trying to get everything together and get some kits together. But what I'm going to try and do this year is film a few more of my Cricut style pages. I used to do a lot of Cricut cut pages, and Cricut changed a lot of things. So let me know in the comments below if you would like to see more layouts done with Cricut cuts than what I've been doing in the past 12 months or so. I'm not going to do them twice a week like I've done this week. It's just that I was very excited about using this bright, cheerful paper, so I wanted to create a layout with that on camera with you today. I'll be back in a moment with some more decisions that I've got to make about this layout with regard to the photo mats and the positioning of all the circle elements. So I have everything adhered down now, and I've used quite a bit of foam tape on this one because I wanted to pop up my title, and I also wanted to pop up the icy-poles. So the titles have one layer of foam tape. The icy-poles on either side of the green ones here have one layer, and then this one here has two layers. And because I tucked this one underneath the title here, I just kept with one layer of foam tape because these icy-poles are pretty much butting up against each other underneath. I love how fresh and fun this layout is. I don't know how many times I've said fun during this video, but this paper is a whole lot of fun to work with. I love how the busy pattern side with the fruit theme works so well with the tone on tone patterns that are on the reverse side of some of the papers. It's really wonderful, and the best thing is you can earn it for free with a $100 order. Now I'm going to hold this up to the camera so that you can see the dimension and also possibly the dots. I think this is probably the project where I've adhered the most dots ever onto a layout. Every single little piece of this tone on tone pattern paper has some dots on it, and then there are a couple that are scattered onto the white part just to tie it all in together. So I have used some Christmas dots for this. So they're the cherry cobbler and pearl adhesive back berries, and I've used all the ones that are stuck together in a group of 3. And I think these make the perfect embellishment for this page. And I did go online to check that these were still available, and they are. The fact that some of them are clear works so well when you're doing it on top of darker toned pattern papers. And then some of them are the cherry cobbler color, and they work well on the pattern that is a little bit paler and also onto the white here. So every single element on this has a group of 3 gems on here. I felt like with the icy-poles, it looked like little droplets on there, and they just dressed up the title areas really well. So this is my summer layout that I have done. I'm doing a little bit of a theme. I'm trying to do a summer, winter, autumn, and spring layout. I did do a spring layout. I'm not sure if I did a video or not on this. I really can't remember if I did or not. It's got the same sort of theme to it. This is using some old Close to My Heart papers that I still had some of, and I just felt like it worked beautifully. But this sort of design would work really well with the beautiful bouquet paper that is out now, the butterfly paper. That collection has got some gorgeous colours in it, and I think that would work really well. So these ones I created overlays to put the piece of paper behind there, and I just thought I would bring that in for a quick show and tell to show you what I'm doing with my seasonal type layouts for this year. Now, all of the icy-pole sticks here had little rounded edges on them, but I anchored these down at the bottom and I cut those off, and I tucked these ones underneath the title because I do like having these sort of things grounded rather than having them floating on the page. So that's my fun layout for today. I hope you enjoyed watching the process of me organising all the pieces to adhere to make up my summer fun layout. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope to see you next time. Happy crafting, everyone, and bye for now.